What is up, YouTube? Just doing another quick video. It's, from the Crown Vic again. This one is in reference to replacing the sway bar joint, or sway bar bushings in the front. This is the new one. It's an energy suspension. I'd rather do the polyurethane than the rubber, for the simple fact that the rubber, after a while, just tend to dry rot, and with this one, I mean, it's not really doing a ton anymore. It's pretty pliable, and it's taken probably a beating. It's probably literally been on the car since it was made, and my Vic is a 2000, so it doesn't show any signs of it ever being replaced. So definitely think it's about time to replace them. I'm in the process of replacing all the bushings with energy suspension. So I already did one side, so I'll get under there and show you what you're looking at. The passenger side, on the bolt, there's actually the bolt, and then there's like a metal clasp that goes around the bolt that holds it, so when you're wrenching it, the bolt doesn't just sit there and spin. Well, apparently that metal clasp actually snapped off the one bolt, so I had to use a pair of vice grips and a open face wrench. If you're using a deep well socket, it'll either be a deep well 16 or 5/8, whichever you prefer. I like to stick with the metric, makes it a little easier. So on the passenger side, we're going to be using a 16 millimeter, and once I get the harder one off, I'll pick the video back up where that is. But once I get under, I'll show you the two bolts, and then what I'm basically doing once I get them off. So I'll go ahead and pause it, and I will pick it back up as soon as I get back under the car. Alright, I'm all back, partially under the car, just so I could show you where we're at. One of the things that I found when doing the bushings on a sway arm, or pretty much just changing any bushing, is if you use the Lucas heavy duty grease, it definitely lasts a lot longer than a lithium grease, so you don't have to worry about once this, because most of the times when you hear squeaking, it's on a bushing where the lubricant has already worn out, like on the inside of inside the bushing. So what you're hearing is the actual metal squishing down onto the rubber. And this one, you can see a lot of dry rot along here, and there's a piece chipped off or busted off on this one. This is the problem child, which is the passenger side. Let's see if I can turn this. Sorry, I'm trying to do it in gloves because it's got to be like 10 degrees out every day. But at least it's not snowing today. This is actually the problem child bolt right now. So I'll have to get the vice grips on the very end and then wrench it pretty much the whole way out to get it off. The other one still works fine. It goes in and comes off with no problem. So I'll pause the video and get that down, and then basically show you what I do after I get that done. The driver's side one is replaced. Let me see if I can get my light to turn on with the and there you can see with the grease on it on both sides. And I'll even do some of the grease that's left over on my glove on my on the bolts end as well. I also wipe the grease on the inside of the bracket to help ensure that it just stays moist and does its job. With the polyurethane, it's going to be stiffer, so there's going to be more chances of it actually squeaking. So that's why I definitely use the grease. So let me pause this and try and get the problem child off, and we'll pick it back up. Alright, so I got that side off. I just want to show you real quick before I put it back on. That's basically what I'll do with that grease. Put it all on the outside of the bushing, and on the inside. And then I'll take the bracket, which the other thing I wanted to show you is that is the bolt right there. You can see where like the metal clasp is actually onto it, and then it'll actually just kind of sit in there, and you're theoretically supposed to be able to just wrench it off. Well, after a while, I guess it gets rust and corrodes, but I'll also wipe some of the grease on the inside of the bracket itself, and then the grease on the outside of the bushing too. So let me pause this and get it back up on, and I'll pick back up. Alright, YouTube, here we go, finished product. We got some grease that squeezes out on the side. It's not a bad thing. On either side, it'll eventually work its way out, but it not being there, it wouldn't be bad either. So that is basically what you're going to be dealing with next on my agenda. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the end of the sway bar, and over here, let's see if I can get it up in there, is my sway bar link. Not even connected. It just kind of snapped off. So that's going to be next on the agenda. They get fixed here in a minute. So debating if I want to do a video on that or not. It's pretty cold out. So alright, if you have any questions or curious about anything, just feel free to subscribe or keep watching. Thanks.